Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So we're continuing today with our metabolic pillars. And I have to say that I really did enjoy putting this one together. It was a challenge for me because one, I'm not the best eater. I'm not the best, chooser of healthy foods. And two, well, at least not all the time. And two, I had to keep in mind that I am serving multiple people with multiple palates. So I tried to keep it as general as possible. And I did utilize some resources to get this together for you. So I hope that you enjoy it. And I hope, if anything, my intention for this is to really help you see food in a different light. I come from years and years and years of a really bad relationship with food. It wasn't until, oh my goodness, probably when I had my second child that I started really looking at food differently. For me, food was always very restrictive. I kept this food journal that I look back on and I still think it's insane. I needed an intervention group to come and help me with that. And I just tracked everything that I ate and the calories that were with it. And I really tried to make sure I was getting my protein, make sure I was getting, all the fiber and the minerals and nutrients. It was just insane. How I managed to move out of that is through the grace of God, man. I just woke up one day and decided that I wasn't going to write down that bowl of oatmeal that I was eating. It got to the point that I knew calories, I knew servings, I knew it all. And it was a very unhealthy relationship with food. So these days, I really do look at food as fuel, and I eat it for enjoyment. I eat it for pleasure. I eat it to support my body, to support what I want to do for the day. So that is my intention for you, is to leave this presentation, this session, with a little less negative perspective on food, the types of food that you eat anyway, and to look at it as a way to fuel your life, because that's exactly what it is. And for those of you that are new to our space, I'm Romelia with Casa Essentials. And today's presentation, like I said, is on healthy eating. So I really do practice what I preach. And I have just as many struggles as everybody else. So I'm not a perfectionist. I make mistakes. I choose badly. But you know what? In the long run, I feel good. And when I am feeling good, I know that my body is functioning the way that it needs to. All right. So first off, on today's menu, we're going to recap the pillars of metabolic health and how, where this fits in with that. We're going to talk a little bit about healthy food, what it is, and look at some intuitive eating ideas. This is what is really where I'm at right now in my lifestyle journey, my healthy lifestyle journey. I really do look at food as a way to nurture and nourish my body, and I hope that comes through with this. And we're going to look at some natural support, and then we're going to wrap it up. So as a recap, our 5 pillars of metabolic health. So we've been tapping into this for quite some time, and we've covered smart supplementation, had some, issues come up with scheduling. So we're back on task with healthy eating. As far as healthy connections are concerned, I'm looking at our in-person workshops as a form of healthy connection, because when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals and people that are going through the same thing that you are, but maybe just at different extremes in intensities, those are healthy connections, and we can support each other. We can help each other. We can answer each other's questions, because I guarantee you, if you have a question about your health, somebody else has that same question. So I believe that our private Facebook group, where most of you tend to watch this, excuse me, that's a healthy connection too, because that's an open platform. It's a non-judgmental space, And that it is never my intention to pass judgment or make people feel bad for their questions or suggestions or anything like that. I believe in community, and building a healthy connection through community is just like my ideal place that I want to hang out in. Next week, we're going to look at stress management, daily movement, and then we're going to follow up with stress management. And that's really going to cover all of our 5 pillars of metabolic health. So I am totally enjoying this journey. Every time that I do a presentation, I start asking myself questions, what are you doing in this arena? So metabolic health. This is optimal levels of 5 markers that are tracked by the powers that be, our professional professional medical community. And these are the things that are tracked and traced and looked at, these biomarkers, to see whether or not we have good metabolic health. I've already shared with you the majority of people do not, but it doesn't mean that we have to stay there. So when you're looking at blood sugar, your triglycerides, high density lipoprotein, your HDL cholesterol, blood pressure, and waist circumference, when you're looking at that and they are at healthy levels without using medication, you have a good metabolic health. Now, some of us can get there with the use of medication, and that's okay. You do you where you are, and you make choices according to what works for you and your health. I am not, I don't have all the letters after my name. I'm a mom and a person that has struggled with healthy eating, with stress management, with movement, all of these things. So I definitely am an expert in essential oils and the products that I share. But you really do have to make decisions that are best for you, right? So if you ever have any questions, I'm happy to help you and direct you to the resources that you may need. But this is what we're really focusing on, these 5 pillars of metabolic health. So what about healthy food? So this information, and I'm sure that you've seen this presented to you since you were a kid in elementary school, maybe even kindergarten. You got to put your own plate together of the kind of foods that you want to eat, right? And I think that's a really great way of looking at it, because if your plate, whatever it is that you're eating, is half filled with vegetables, you're doing really well, my friend. But this information I gathered from the CDC. They have a really beautiful booklet that, it's a booklet that you can download online, but it has some really helpful information, especially if you just want to get to the basics. So for the basic person, these are the suggested servings that you should have on the daily. Now they go further on in that booklet, they go to break it down for you, as well as the type of vegetables, the type of fruit, the types of grains, and those things like that. I'm not going to do this here. I can certainly give you the link to that booklet underneath this video. But for the purposes now, we're just going to focus on this and just kind of tap into what those groups are. So as far as for vegetables, now we're really looking at your dark green vegetables, your leafy greens, your mustard greens, lettuce, spinach, kale, which I really am a fan of kale. I love it in my smoothies. I love it in my stews. I love it steamed. I love it baked and make kale chips with it. I really am a fan of kale. It took me some years to get there, but I certainly am. Broccoli. You're looking at, there's another category of red or orange vegetables, like your carrots and your sweet potatoes, your squash. And then you move into your beans, your peas, your lentils. Not so much as, those can also be proteins. And we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But your starchy vegetables too, your corn, your green beans, those kind of things you want to eat less of. You really do want to have more of the leafy greens, your dark green veggies, and your red and orange veggies, because those have the highest nutrient content. Fresh is always best, but you can have them frozen as well. You can steam them. You can cook them and bake them, but keep in mind that once you change the temperature of that food, you're also going to change the nutrient content as well. For fruits, 2 cups a day. And it's really surprising in our Western diet, especially the United States, our portion sizes are huge, just huge. The other day I had lunch with a friend and I was breaking my fast, and I've already shared with you guys that when I break my fast, I pound down some food. I'm just really ravenous when I get to that point, and everything just looks so good. So I ended up ordering, multiple things and only ate 2 of them, and that's okay. But when we start thinking of servings, really utilize measurements to kind of look at how distorted we are in what we believe is a portion, what we believe is a serving. It's really a lot smaller than what we get at restaurants, what we get, if you're doing fast food, and even what we may be piling on our plates at home. So 2 cups of fruit, any kind of fruit, strawberries, love berries, blueberries are power, superfoods. But you could also do bananas and apples, whatever it is that, whatever type of nature's candy you want to enjoy, go for it. Just don't overdo it, because you can overeat with healthy foods. Grains, 6 ounces. So you have whole grains and you have refined grains. Your whole grains are those that still have all the parts of the grain. So you're looking at things like barley and farro. You're also looking at quinoa, those kind of things. For the refined grains, the germ and the bran have been removed. So they are not as high in nutrient content that we would like them to be. And they've just been processed. Things like your white rice falls in line here, as well as your flours. Unless it's like a whole grain flour, a whole wheat flour, those still have those other vital nutrients with them. But just be aware that there's different kinds, and you're only looking at ounces. You're not looking at cups here. You're really just looking at ounces. Dairy, 3 cups of dairy. This is where I went back and forth on. I am not a big fan of dairy unless it's cheese. We do have yogurt, and I do eat yogurt, but my yogurt of choice is usually a soy yogurt. And I also like coconut milk yogurt. So, but that's just my preference. For everyone, including me, we should have 3 cups of dairy a day. And keep in mind that eggs are not dairy. You may store them in your refrigerator, but it is not a dairy product. That actually falls under protein. So for your dairy, again, I mentioned yogurt, cheese, which I absolutely love, milks, not so much as a nut milk in there, because it's just a different nutrient base, nutrient composition. But if you have something like a fortified soy milk, that can definitely suffice for a dairy serving. Again, I am not a milk drinker. I like nut milks. Oat milk is great in coffee. I love almond milk with my cereal or with my oatmeal, and even as the base of my smoothies. So something that I worked on with my kids that I found very helpful is we created a chart when they were younger, when we were learning about healthy food and healthy servings. And it was, they got to take pictures of things and put it on there. This is what I had for breakfast. And we did that for a couple of weeks just to give them an idea. I think that's really important for anyone here that is really struggling to make healthy choices, or maybe you're looking at, maintaining your weight and you're trying to be very careful about some things. Track your food if you need to, but just don't get obsessed with it. Okay. Don't get to Romelia level. That is not healthy. Protein, 5.5 ounces. So you really want to reach for rich protein foods, those that have a high protein content. And the number 1 in there is actually fish. Fish has the highest content of protein per ounce. So choose those, good fatty fish, because you'll get some doses of omega in there too. But you also can do like poultry, other kinds of meat are in here too. And for us that do not eat things like that, there's also the legumes, and we have tree nuts, not so much as peanuts. Peanuts are not a legume in there. It's actually just its own nut. Pecans are great, and almonds and walnuts. Those are great sources of protein, as well as walnuts are a great source of omegas. And then you have 27 grams of oils. Now, this is not necessarily fats like butter or sour cream, those kind of things, or even sugar. That's not what is included here. What this is referring to is like the actual oils that you may be cooking with or making your salad dressings with. So olive oil, peanut, sunflower, corn, safflower oils, all of those are really high and great omegas and antioxidants. The other stuff like a vegetable shortening, even lard, that does not fall in here at all. All right. Coconut oil, as I was reading through this booklet, is not coconut oil, palm kernel oil are not included in these 27 grams because they contain a higher percentage of saturated fat compared to these oils. So I found that really interesting because I love to cook with coconut oil too. So I guess it's just something that I have to think about and using in moderation. The majority of our food that we cook at home is with olive oil, but I do like coconut oil, so I'll have to keep that in mind as I am, preparing meals for my family. And like I said, this information comes from this really beautiful booklet from the CDC, and I will post a link to that underneath. So if you're interested in reading through it or just looking at the source itself, you're welcome to it. It'll be right at your fingertips. So intuitive eating. What is that? All right. So intuitive eating it's really in place. It's really something to help you eliminate that confusion and worrying about what you're putting into your body and when you're putting it into your body. This took, like I mentioned before, this took me a really long time to get to this point and to not have that voice in my head that was, telling me that I shouldn't be putting that on my plate, or I need to not take a second or whatever, right? So it's also a way so that you can better understand your hunger. Like, what is driving you to want to put food into your mouth? Is it really hunger, or are you bored, or are you thirsty? So intuitive eating also helps with forming a positive and healthy attitude and relationship with food. And it also, and body perspective as well. I think that's really important that we take food off of that shelf of something that is bad for you, that makes you feel guilty. Don't do that to yourself. Look at food as fuel and think about the kind of fuel your body needs. We all need energy and nutrients and minerals from our food. It's just, how are we going to get it? What kind of food are we going to lean into to get that? So this little exercise here was really helpful for me in the very beginning. I still do this, but not as often as I should, especially when I'm looking at a lunch menu and I'm looking at all these things that I want to put in front of me so that I can just pound it down. And that's another thing about intuitive eating, is really enjoying your food, like chewing it, actually chewing your food maybe 20 times before you swallow, so that you can actually savor it, enjoy it, have an appreciation of what that food is doing for your body. So this little exercise here can help you get to that place, right? Instead of being a Romelia at the lunch table and ordering 3 different things from the menu, be more aware, be more intuitive about what you're going to order from the lunch menu and put into your body. All right, so something that you can do to practice is just to close your eyes and then you take a really deep breath in, hold it, and then release it slowly. Do that about 4 times. And in the time that you're doing that, it really slows you down. It helps you to change your mindset, helps you to change your actions and really focus on what you're going to do. And then just think about, allow yourself to feel what your body is telling you. Is it telling you that it's actually hungry? Or is it telling you that you're upset and you want a sugar fix? Or you're tired and you want a sugar fix? Or you're bored and you need something to snack on? Listen to what your body is telling you. And then choose your food. Then choose how much of that food you're going to take in. So this is intuitive eating. And some other tips to consider is for your meals, eat the protein, eat the fiber packed foods and meals, and that you can track your eating habits. Not so much as what you're eating and how much of it you're eating, but your habits. When are you eating throughout the day? Are you eating after you wake up from a nap? Are you eating at work after a stressful meeting? Are you eating at the ballpark watching your kids play because you don't have anything else to do? Track those kind of eating habits. Don't count the calories to put on a board, and don't restrict your portions or skip meals. Keep your portions as far as the servings are concerned, right? Half your plate of veggies, a quarter of it of a protein, and then a quarter of it of a carbohydrate, a complex carb, something like that. And don't skip meals. When we skip meals thinking that we are, especially we have this health goal of losing weight or maintaining a weight, and so we're skipping those meals. We get to that point that our body goes into this, starvation mode, and then we're binge eating later. Intermittent fasting, just FYI, is something completely different, because I still eat 3 meals a day. I just eat them in a smaller window of time. So do drink a glass of water before each meal. If this isn't a habit that you have already, start doing it and see how that affects what you're eating and when you're eating. Water is really great to help with your digestion, and it also helps to settle your hunger hormones. And then sometimes when we think we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. So drinking that glass of water is going to satiate that need. And then you can really think about, okay, I had a glass of water 10 minutes ago. Am I still hungry? So don't include sugary drinks with your meals. There was tons of studies that have been done already, that have been done on drinking sugary beverages while you eat. And what they found was that a large percentage of people, after their meal, their bodies tended to store more fat. So it had also increased their desire to eat something savory and salty, even up to 4 hours after they had eaten. So take a glass of water, or if you must, take a glass of water with an essential oil in there. So don't include those with your meals. Avoid food labeling, that good versus bad. I can't stress enough how important it is to change that mindset. When we start assigning labels to food, it can really mess with our mindset. And then we start feeling really guilty about the foods that we're eating, and we're making bad choices all the time because we're guilty. We're feeling that guilty. Don't have guilt about what you eat. If you make a bad choice, do better the next time around. Don't beat yourself up for it. That was just one meal. Bad habits are over a period of time, and we can change that. And so is that bad mindset and that bad relationship with food. That can be changed. And don't forbid yourself a particular food. Don't do that restrictive thing. If you want a piece of cake, eat the cake. Just don't eat the whole cake. Limit yourself. Maybe eat half of the slice if that's what you want to do. But don't restrict yourself because you think it's a bad food. Unless you have, medical concerns and reasons, and you're being followed by a physician or a nutritionist that's telling you otherwise, listen to what they say. but still change that mindset of labeling foods good and bad. When you're bored, exercise. That's going to help. A lot of the times we're eating and putting things in our mouth because we have nothing else to do. Exercise, go for a walk, go for a run, read a book, drink an herbal tea. That's going to help satiate that need to put something in your mouth. Chew some of that MetaPower gum. I've actually been leaning into that ever since I said I'm going to have to be intentional about it. It tastes pretty good. And don't eat while you watch TV, work, or drive, because that is just like not even conscious eating. You're just putting things in your mouth, and you don't even realize how much you're eating, especially when you're watching something on the screen. So something that you can work on, going back to labeling food as good and bad. We tell ourselves that I can't eat this food because it's unhealthy or bad for me. Try to change that language into, I understand this food can be enjoyed as part of a healthy, balanced diet in moderation. See how that sounds different, and it even comes off different, because if you feel like you need to give yourself permission to eat that, this is definitely going to change that mindset. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. And if it really, is something that that you have an addictive behavior to it, seek help, seek professional help, because we can be addicted to certain foods. We can be addicted to sugar foods, and we can also comfort eat, right? Whenever we're feeling really emotionally unbalanced, we reach for something, right? But think about it. Stop and tell yourself that it can be healthy. It can be enjoyed as part of your healthy, balanced diet. I love that change. I love that change. So natural support, even though we try and we have all of these guidelines and all of these methods and ways to help us eat healthy, help us eat better, and make better choices on our food, we still will not completely get all the nutrients and vitamins that our bodies need to function at its optimal metabolic level, right? That's what we want. We want optimal metabolic cardiovascular health, because when we get to that point, that means everything is running the way it was intended. So these are the three products that I think would be the best support for a healthy lifestyle. Our lifelong vitality has always been key. It is the foundation. You have your Microplex VMZ. This gives you your vitamins and minerals. Think about if you've eaten like fast food and it's highly processed food for lunch, you've missed out on some key nutrients during that meal. If you skipped a meal, you skipped breakfast because you're running late and all you had was your coffee, you missed some key nutrients there. So this is a really great supplement in that it helps to fill in the gaps, but it also supports a healthy gut flora. So that's really key in maintaining a healthy weight and even balancing those food cravings, those sugar cravings that we may have. The alpha CRS is a powerful antioxidant. This is polyphenols that are doing their absolute wonderful, beautiful magic to protect our DNA. It also helps to improve our energy levels. Our XEO omega, this is our essential fatty acids. So this supports our immune function as well. It also supports, our cardiovascular health as well, our brain health. It's a really great supportive supplement. It also includes clove and thyme oils that have research behind it on how they can actually support our immune system, our brain health. And we also have a vegan option, which I definitely recommend and use. I appreciate the vegan option, I really do. These three supplements were designed to work in synergy with one another. So you take 2 of each of these capsules with two meals. So you can take them 2 of each in the morning with breakfast, 2 of each in the lunchtime, or 2 each at lunch and dinner, whatever works for you. You'll find your groove once you start using these. And you can learn more about this particular product in the one that I did just a couple of weeks ago, the Wellness Wednesday session I did a couple of weeks ago on smart supplementation, where I highlighted this. So this is a wonderful foundation, and it's really going to help put you in that right direction, move you into that right direction. doTERRA's nutrition line, we have a doTERRA protein, which is very, very yummy. You have a whey option and you have a vegan option. So the whey protein is a concentrate from pasture-fed, RBST-free cows. So these cows are they're roaming free in the pasture, and they're not being injected with with antibiotics or any kind of, super boosting steroids or anything like that. I think I just unmuted and unmuted myself. I'm not sure what happened here. I tell you, this Zoom is not my best friend. Anyway, so you have this whey protein is also non-GMO. It's kosher, and it's a halal source of protein, and it has a complete amino acid profile, that's what we really want. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, so we really need to make sure that we're getting those in. We also have a vegan source, and this is sourced from brown rice, from flaxseed, and I really love that there aren't any synthetic sweeteners in there. It's naturally sweetened with monk fruit, and each serving has 20 grams of protein and also a bonus of 7 grams of fiber. Fiber we talked about last week in our oil spotlight. So our fiber gives you 6 grams of soluble and insoluble fiber. It's sourced from whole food sources. Just a recap on that one. Let's see, you have things like apple, tapioca, flaxseed. There's a prebiotic blend in there that's food for that healthy gut in the microbiome, the healthy microbiome. And it also has a natural source of vitamin C, and it tastes really good. It's got a apple lemony kind of flavor to it, and it's easily digestible. I think that's what I appreciate most about this nutrition line, is that it is easily digestible. It's already in a form that your body can break down and utilize. And if you are a member, keep in mind that today is the last day that you can get your free travel size sachets of fiber. You'll need to place your 125 LRP order tonight, and they'll just automatically add it to your order. It's a really great supplement, and I love that these little packets are transportable. I hope it is a permanent product for us. doTERRA greens. These are really, this is a really big powerhouse, especially for people that do not like leafy greens, that have a really tough time with vegetables. I won't name any names, but I have someone in my household that is like that. The greens contain a green blend that has kale, alfalfa wheatgrass, dandelion, spinach, all of those great things. But it also has a superfood blend in there. So this has your moringa, your noni, your acai, and your goji. Those are super antioxidants. Your fruit blend contains pineapple, mango, some guava in there, and it's just really nicely blended together, and it's just a really nice supplement. It also has essential oils in there, and it has this nice little berry flavor to it. So this you can use if maybe you're going to be running all day. Make you a shake with some greens and fiber, add some protein in there. There's your meal. Take it on the go. Probiotics, you have PB Assist, 2 options of probiotics. You have your PB Assist, which is your capsule. This has 6 strains of probiotic microorganisms and 6 billion colony forming units. So this is a really awesome system in that it is protected in the stomach. The stomach acid doesn't break down the prebiotic fiber that encapsulates this this supplement. Instead, it's time released so that it can get down into the gut. Your PB Assist Junior, same thing. It has a prebiotic blend in there, and this is just tasty. It's a pixie stick for kids and for adults. And it's really interesting that these two products do not contain the same strains of bacteria. So that's really, if you really need to work on some gut health, maybe have one in the morning and the other one in the afternoon, whichever. And then make sure that your kids are getting this too. TerraZyme. TerraZyme is great, is a great addition too for your overall digestive system. It has 10 active whole food enzymes, and what really is neat, is wonderful about this, is that TerraZyme reduces our demand, our body's demand, our digestive system's demand on those internal enzymes that we already produce. So it kind of just slows them down so that those resources can be used somewhere else. TerraZyme is also great, if you're incorporating more natural whole foods into your diet. This really helps to break those down. Like your proteins and your complex carbs that can really be a challenge for some people to break down. This will help break it down. And it also helps to convert food nutrients to cellular energy. So some more healthy eating tips. Exchange your juices and sodas for water with a drop of lemon essential oil or any essential oil. It's just the same. And if you feel like you need that carbonation, try some sparkling water with some essential oil. It's delicious. Eat the rainbow, more color of your fruits and vegetables. And when you shop the perimeter of the store, you're going to get more whole foods, healthy foods that way. When you start going into the aisles, that's when you have your highly processed foods. And you want to limit your intake of that. Drink water throughout the day to stay hydrated. If you're incorporating any supplements, any more natural foods, whole foods, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. It's just going to help with the digestion. Something that I find that is really helpful for us to stay on task is when we create a weekly menu. And then our grocery list follows. That really helps us to make better choices. It gets everybody involved too in the process, and they have some buy-in, so they're going to sit down and eat what's made. But it also helps to be a little bit more intentional. You can look to see if you're missing something. Am I not including a certain vegetable this day? Or I've already had that protein, is there something else that I can switch it out? So another tip is to chop all of your veggies and fruits before you store them. That way they don't sit in a bag in your crisper and not get eaten and go to waste. I find that when I chop those things up and put them into containers in the fridge, they will get eaten. And then start small. You don't have to make all of these changes all at once. It can be very overwhelming. So start small. Make one choice, one good choice for healthy eating. Focus on that until it becomes a habit, and then implement something else. So make it easy for yourself. Don't try to go and, gut out your fridge and your cabinets. Do one thing. Start small. How to get started with healthy eating. So you guys that are current account holders, you can order through your own online shop, right? Your own account. So you can add your Lifelong Vitality and then add 3 discounted supplements. I would totally go for the PB Assist for if you have children, the PB Assist and the TerraZyme. And if you have children, add a children's kit to that, because they'll get the omegas and the chewables. If you don't have children at home, maybe get 2 PB Assists and a TerraZyme, because you can get up to 3 of them at discounted price. Unfortunately, our nutrition line is not part of that, discounted custom LLV order, but you can go in and order them. Use your LRP template so that you can get some product points and free shipping. And if you process today and it's at least 125, you'll get the fiber. For those of you that do not have current accounts, you can get started with the daily habits. This is by far my favorite starter kit because it really sets you up for success. You have everything in there to support metabolism, nutrition, pain, sleep, stress, and even your informed self-care is in there. So I really love this kit. I think it's really fantastic. It's a great way to get started with doTERRA for sure. Or if you want to, I'm not interested in the daily habits, the healthy habits kit, but I do want, to start maybe with the lifelong vitality and choose your 3 supplements. You can go there. The promotion for a new member account, a free new member account, is still valid, is still active until the end of the month. And then if it's 150 PV, you get free shipping and you get your free account. We'll also throw in our welcome packet that will set you up for success. Coming up, we have our daily movement for next week. Yay. That's also one of my favorite topics. And stress management on the 29th with a special guest. And then we move into April. We'll start off with our oil spotlight because we'll have a whole new set of promotions. And then we're going to move into some spring cleaning. We do have a live in-person workshop for spring cleaning. I'll make sure to post that link underneath. It is this Sunday at 3:30. So I'll make sure to post that link for you so that you can get registered. Our space is limited, but it should be a lot of fun and you get to take home one of the DIYs that you make. And then this is how you can stay connected with us. For those of you watching on YouTube later, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to our channel. And all of you should be on our weekly newsletter distribution. Not only do I send you, information about doTERRA, but things that are going on in Casa Walters in general, and some recipes and some tips. And it's just a way for us to stay connected. So I'm going to leave you with this. To stay healthy, my friend. And eating healthy means living longer and better. And not just living longer, but living better. If we're going to have that lifelong, if we're going to live to be 100 years old, want to make sure that we're living to be 100 years old. We're living it. We're living a life full of vitality. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a great evening, and yeah, I'm interested to hear some of your transformations, and share with us, what is the one thing that you're going to change to get you started on healthy eating. All right, peace.